Hello, welcome. Today, I'm Keith, first off, but today I'm gonna talk about forgiveness because I feel like it. Well, ultimately, that's why we do anything that we do is because we feel like doing it or we think it's the right thing to do. So, in my life, I would carry a lot of resentment towards myself and towards other people. And I have been working on it for the last few years. And a lot more so recently due to this this worldwide virus scam crap that they're pulling on us that they haven't even proven has well, they haven't isolated it, so it's not even proven to exist, which no one died from the fucking flu last year. But hey, what the fuck do I know? I just researched this shit for hundreds of hours. So yeah, just do your own research on it. Don't fucking believe a damn thing that I fucking say. Or anybody says. Especially don't believe the fucking mainstream media because it's fucking multi-billionaires that are telling you information. If you think that these fucking people care about your health and your life, you gotta think for yourself for a change. So, forgiveness. I'm learning to forgive those fucking people because they don't know any better. So, and first off, you gotta learn to forgive yourself for dumb things you said, for dumb things you did, for crazy thoughts that you get sometimes that you're like, why am I getting this kind of thought? Why is that there? You gotta just forgive. You gotta just forgive these things because if you don't forgive them, they're just gonna keep playing. It's just gonna keep playing through you. It's like well, ultimately it's a trauma. It's some kind of trauma if it's something that you have to work on. So how can you tell if there's something that you need to forgive? Well, what how does this kind of thought make you feel? If it makes you feel like shit, then you got to learn to forgive it and then you let it go. And if it's something that plays through you, if it plays through you a lot, like let's say you have some kind of so you go to a gym or something and you said something to somebody at a gym that was kind of stupid. So whenever you go to a gym, that kind of thought pops up into your head and then it makes you feel like shit about it. Well, then that's something that you got to learn to forgive yourself about. Or if you sit around or if you're sitting around and you notice that some kind of thought continuously pops into your head over the course of it's been in your head for a long time or a period of time for like a few weeks or something like that. Well, then you got to learn to you got to forgive that. You got to learn to forgive yourself for having those kinds of thoughts. You have to work through them and you have to let them, well, forgiveness is a process of letting go. Ultimately what it is, that's what it's all about. I feel in my own life it's a little easier to actually work personally with the with the situations with myself than just saying, "Oh, that's gone, letting go, done." And, it's not so easy for people just to feel something and then just say, "No, that's not me anymore." And then they're just able to let that go. Because ultimately, if you're having those kinds of thoughts and emotions and feelings, they're affecting you. They're affecting you right here, right now. They're affecting your ability in very subtle ways. If you're holding on to something, well, if not just towards yourself, but towards anybody, if you're holding on to something, it's affecting the way that you live. It's affecting everything about you in a very subtle way. So when you learn to forgive yourself, you start to it starts to change the way that you go about your life. It starts to change the way that you show up in the world. So, one of the most powerful methods that I found to forgive myself is the Ho'oponopono meditation. You can do some research on it. I'll just basically state it's I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And you start with yourself first off. In order to forgive others, you have to forgive yourself. And if you can't forgive someone else, forgive yourself for not being able to forgive them. Do that too. Because there's a lot of shit in life that we can't just brush off. You know, like people that were raped, or if someone, shot and killed somebody that you care about, or, there's I had too many things to list here, but if you just go into it, forgive yourself for not being able to forgive the situation, or for forgiving them, or forgiving yourself if you did something really freaking stupid. Because I've done some pretty stupid shit too. I've had some pretty stupid thoughts, and I've said some pretty stupid things. But I'm learning to forgive myself. So you gotta start with yourself first. You gotta just say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. Think about yourself. Think about that situation that's haunting your mind. Put that in your mind. Put the I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you on that situation, on yourself, and then you feel it. You feel it in yourself. You feel the love. You feel the goodness. You feel that rise up through you. And as you do that, the amount of triggering of the trauma response that you're going to get is going to start to become less and less and less and less. And eventually, you're just going to let that go. If that thought comes back to your mind, it's not going to trigger that nervous system response anymore. It's not going to trigger that chemical reaction the way that it was. It's not going to make you feel like shit anymore. Or if it does, it's going to become less and less and less, like I said. But ultimately, in the end, it needs to come to a point where you can just say, you know what? Whatever. What the fuck ever. Oh, I swear. Oh, no. So, because ultimately, no, but we don't know. We only know what we're told. We live in a society that through schooling, they don't teach you how to love yourself. They don't teach you how to show up in the world. They don't teach you how to formulate mental health. They don't. Try and argue with that. You can't, because I know I'm right. So, it's hanging loose, baby. But you really just gotta learn to love yourself. Ultimately, that's what forgiveness is all about. You gotta seek understanding in life. And like I was saying, a lot of us just don't, we don't know. We live such short lives, and there's so much misinformation in this world. It's hard to know, it's hard to discern between the truth and the lies. It really is. And I mean, I'm 30 now. If I go back 10 years in my life, when I was 20, I didn't know shit. I'm like 100 times more intelligent now than I was then. So you gotta look at life through the eyes of knowledge, and see that even now, even as intelligent as I feel I am, 10 years from now, I'm going to know a lot more than I know now if I'm still alive. Because who the hell knows? But people don't know shit. They only know what they were told, or how they've interpreted experiences, how they've interpreted books, how they've lived their lives. If they eat shitty food, what are their daily habits? What happened in their life from on this day? We don't all these things are going to affect the way that we think and the way that we behave in the world. There's so many more different factors you can throw into it too. And when you try and look at the eyes of what life is, this if you life looks like it's simple. It is simple, but when you dissect it, it is so complex that it's very difficult to understand. You don't even know what kind of looking at a wall in your house, like the wall behind me or that doll behind me. In that doll, what fabric is it made of? Who made that fabric? What year was that fabric made? What color is that? What colors go into that color? What kind of life did the person live that made the doll? And those are just a few options of infinite possibilities. Every single little thing around you, if you look deep enough into it, you can see that there's infinite questions you can ask about it. Infinite. It never ends. Try to prove me wrong. You can ask an infinite amount of questions about anything, infinite amount of possibilities into anything. So life is so vastly complex, and we live such, it's like complex, simple lives, but we don't know what the hell's going on here. I mean, we try to, but we just gotta learn to let this shit go. We gotta learn to forgive ourselves, because we don't know. We don't know the answers, especially when we're younger. We make mistakes. You gotta learn to let that crap go, because it eats you up on the inside. If you just keep holding on to shit your whole life, it eats you. You feel it. It affects your health. What's the leading cause of disease right now in the world? Stress. Right? Is it not? What causes cancers and all these things? It's this motherfucking thing sitting right here, thinking all the time. And when we think, a lot of our thoughts are negative. And then you feel it in your heart. You feel it in your body. It drags you down. So use Ho'oponopono. Forgive yourself first. First, you forgive yourself. Secondly, you look at the others. What was I just saying about the complexity of life? Life is infinitely complex, and our sense of vision, it's 0.001 or something odd percent. I don't even know. It could be less than that of the total possibilities of light that we pick up on. So, what if there is another reality right where you're standing that you can't even see, that we can't touch, that we can't feel, that we can't experience, that we can't hear? How do you know that that's not the case? You don't. So, others don't know either. They only know, and they only do what they think is right at that point in time. And a lot of people just don't know any better. They don't approach things from a state of love. They don't approach things from a grounded standpoint, because there's a lot of things that happen in our day-to-day lives that trigger us. And when when we're triggered, we're not going to behave in a way that it can hurt other people or ourselves. So you gotta learn to forgive others too, because they don't know any better too. Your parents, when they put you through that shitty experience, they didn't freaking know any better. You know what? You say it was on purpose. You know what? If they did it on purpose, they thought it was the right thing to do. In some weird, sick, twisted way, they only ultimately every decision that you make, there's infinite possibilities to it, but there's ultimately the two. We can say there's two. You know, the light and the dark, white, black, whatever the case may be. They pick the best option that they know of. Every single day, every decision that you make, you think is the right decision, right? Or else you wouldn't make it. You don't go in and say, oh, I'm going to go make the wrong decision today. I'm going to go do this thing right here. You're doing it because you think it brings you the most benefit. If you hate yourself, you're doing shitty things to yourself because you think that that's what you need to do, right? Right. Okay. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and practice Ho'oponopono or any other way of forgiving yourself. Hypnosis is something else. Meditation, I brought those things up too. Yoga, breath work, shamanic drumming, trance music, not like the freaking like music that puts you into a trance. No, like whatever kind of music that works for you. So yeah, guys, I could keep talking about this, but I think you get the point. You know, we just I've learned a lot about forgiveness in my life, and I just want to share it to hopefully shed some light onto some situation in your life, and help you become a more whole and grounded person. So thanks for taking your time, because this video is kind of long. And have a wonderful day. Goodbye.